Today is September 5th, and last night after the sun had gone down on September 4th, I realized that it was the 10-year anniversary of my having uploaded my first YouTube video. So I wanted to kind of honor that by just doing a sort of what I did 10 years ago, which is a seedling tour, and bring you guys along, and we'll take a look at some of what I have in my collection. I could be here, I could do this for half an hour covering everything, but I'll just kind of coarse grain it a little bit. Before I get started with the plants though, I want to thank you all so very much, all of you who are subscribed, and those of you who also interact with me in comments. I just thank you all so very much for your involvement with the channel and enjoying the videos, I hope, or using the videos anyway. And those of you that just pop in, you're probably not going to find this video, but those that come in for informational reasons to find out more about a plant, I'm glad that that's of value. So again, to my subscribers, thank you all very, very, very much. I do this as a hobby, so I'm not in any kind of, I don't do the Patreon thing, or I don't do whatever that is that YouTube has, monetizing or anything like that, so it's just a hobby. Anyway, let's get on to plants. Again, thank you so much. And so here I have Borassus aethiopum and Borassidendron macadonus here, these shinier leaves. Really like those a lot, those are neat. Liquala Ramsey I or Ramsey E, some Sable Yapas. I love those too, they're really, I love all my plants, what am I saying? More Borassus aethiopum here that are doing the remote, either a remote radical or a sinker or whatever you want to call it. And so I let them do that for a little bit, and then I do what I call a C-section, where I pull everything out of the pot and raise the emerging single leaf that's coming out of the stem, and clean any ancillary tissue or fiber away from it to give it the best chance to turn into what these are, these old strap leaf guys over here, like about 1.5 years old. But they went through that same process, and then they'll get stuffed to larger containers. So that's just the initial stage. I actually have seeds that just came in not too long ago, and they're sitting, it looks like they're in the ground, but they're sitting on a piece of plastic, and so I can catch their roots, because once their roots get in the ground, you can't do much with them except kill them, or let them grow where they are, which is a no-no. This over here is an area that is left over from last winter, so it is September, and so I'm just going to go ahead and they're ready to go for this winter coming up, because they're all megatherms, they're all very cold sensitive, and I guess my reasoning was, when winter was over this year in 2020, I said, I'll just leave them here, it's perfectly fine, otherwise, space is space, doesn't really matter. So let's look, we have a Rhopala Blast Augusta there, Vicia pachycladus, Bentinkia nicobarica, Penanga adengensis, kind of taller little bifid leaf over there, and a Penanga species yellow crown shaft, which hopefully will do. It seems to be doing well so far, so hopefully it'll do well. And over here I just have some of the newer seedlings. I'm really slowed down a lot on, I don't really pick up seeds anymore. I've kind of hit a wall with new stuff. But anyway, this is what I got. This is some Eugenia brasiliensis here, these little guys right there, and some Arcana Phoenix myolensis right in here, and then I have some larger things over here like this heterospathe, that's probably an alata, some various Liquala, and you can see, over the course of my career doing stuff as palms as a hobby, I like to test for success or insurability, and these would likely qualify as complete failures. I think you would agree with me. They're deader than doornails, whatever the hell that means. But these were Dipsis species metallic, and they just did not like me or what I was doing to them. I don't say like me personally, but my habit of caring for them. So this is a Borassus hybrid, and it's either a back cross hybrid, so in other words, Flabellifer aethiopum, and then back into one of the parents, but it's kind of slow, kind of misshapen, so it might turn out to be something interesting. Some Syagris amara here, I really love those guys. Two Roystonia here, there's Maziana and Altissima, I believe. I can see that, I think that's Maziana there, and I'm pretty sure those are Altissima. This is some sables from my friend Keith. So thank you, Keith. Sable X brazoriensis, Sable Lisa, and there's possibly a Miamiensis in here, and maybe something else in Sable. There's a Penango of some kind there. Might just be the more ubiquitous Florida landscape specimen, Coronata or whatever it is. There's a Thrinax parviflora there. That's the best I've done in that species. Speaking of common landscape, this is Tygosperma mccarthyrii, but they're not super common up this way on the Treasure Coast. Solitaires are the elegans, but not so much these guys, so I'm going to spread those around a little bit. And on that note, everything I'm growing is essentially bound for botanical gardens. None of this is for me anymore. I can't plant anymore in my yard, and I'm probably going to move in the next, say, 5 to 10 years, so I'm actually getting things out. So this is Orania pallidon, Chinia phoenix nana. There is one of my favorite little Cocanthrinax down here is the Miraguama subspecies Havanensis. Really like those. This is Calyptrocalix elegans boalax. Sorry, I had to think for a second on that one. And Dipsis, the name escapes me. Here's a sugar apple, a Nona, I believe, Cheromoya. And what's funny is the parent of this, the seed of the parent was brought over from Thailand. So it's a New World plant, went over to the Old World, now it's coming back. So it's a rather cosmopolitan, at least representative of the species. Orenga tremula, there's some Sapulum dulcificum there, the, what do you call it, the miracle fruit, longifolia, Polyathea longifolia, really nice columnar tree, sort of the same form as the Neapolitan cypress, but obviously much different leaf morphology. Pichardia beccariana, possibly, probably another heterospathe there. I have a lot of heterospathes. These Littoralis Cocathrinax, yes. So the ocean side Cocathrinax. This is a really cool hybrid here. This is Alligoptera caudescens times Alligoptera arenaria. So if you're not super familiar with that genus, caudescens is a very robust tree form with evenly arranged pinnae, sort of feathery pinnae, and in a biplane, whereas the arenaria is trunkless or acaulescent and has a radial expression or regular arrangement around the leaf petiole or the stem of the petiole, so it's, yeah, again, it's, I guess radial arrangement, it might be the best way. So it'll be interesting to see what that ends up doing with itself. This Cocathrinax is actually variegating itself. Not sure what stressed it out. These are Satacentia leucuensis, and I've got a larger one right here. It's a really gorgeous palm, one of my favorites. A whole bunch of Cocathrinax in here. There's Crinita brevicrinus. I don't know if these are more littoralis or acuminata. So we got some acuminata there. These are F2s of Zambia antillarum times Cocathrinax barbadensis. And then there's some other, oh, that's just another of those F2s there. Pichardia, I believe, Pacifica. And in here, I managed not to kill these. I'm really happy with myself. These are Areca vestiaria maroon form. Some random stuff in here. These are cashew trees given to me by a friend in Palm Beach, Lake Worth. Anacardia occidental, I believe. And there's Crassophylla, excuse me, species there. I think these are more Vicia, either Pachycladus or something, perhaps Winnin mixed in. These are really rare, Liquala, so rare, I can't remember the species name, but I've got it written down somewhere. Some other Cocathrinax. What's funny is I have raccoons in here. They frequent this area, and they like the tags. I don't know what their obsession with the tags are, but they take them. So I can only imagine there's a raccoon den around here full of tags, and not that I'm anthropomorphizing them, but I can only assess that perhaps they collect them, you know, like maybe they trade them like trading cards. Yeah, again, I'm getting absurd, but I'm trying to reason. why they like them so much. But anyway, let's see, heterospathe nigrocensis, doing well. Of my experimental heterospathes, these guys are happy. They're old. This is like a year and a half old, but they're moving along. Dipsis pambana here. I think more Bentinkia. I love Bentinkia. Some type of Prichardia here, and oh, this tag actually has Thurstonii. So I've got some Prichardia Thurstonii there. Oh yeah, variegated Adenidia. Definitely had to have those. And again, they're all going into collections. I also have heterospathe intermedia, Barfortii, and Elmer I or Elmer EI, I can't remember, but I have a bunch of different heterospathes in there. Let's go over here for a second. And Gauzia Gomez Pompey here, lots of them. Corypha utan, I got like 3 or 4. Oh, I got a sable Ursana. I love that glaucous leaf on those things. It's real thick and leathery too. I hope that makes it to adulthood. I like that species. I love sable, period, but that's a special one. This one, these two rather, were, how should I say this delicately? I went to Cancun a couple years ago, and at the resort that I was staying at for a conference, they had a triangle palm and these Areca palms all like huddled in on each other, and so the rachel assemblies of both species were all like, you know, having this intermingling session thing going on. I said, man, I got to get these seeds. So there were, you know, seeds on the ground from the lutescens, and I grabbed those hoping that they might have crossed with the triangle, the Decarii or Decari. To make this, to sanitize this a little bit, there was an alternate me that broke off into an alternate universe, and that alternate me flew these back into the States, and so I've been watching them for about 2 years, and I haven't heard from the alternate me since then. But anyway, he was kind enough to have done that favor for me and brought these here. And we're seeing pretty much lutescens expression there. I have an actual, like a triangle palm in there just for reference. So, but I'm not disappointed. I mean, they're, you know, I can at least call them Cancun Arecas or whatever. Not that that means anything to anybody. Scipia concolor, more Bentinkia, Carpentaria. This used to be Livistona kimberliana, and then it went to something like Laurophylla. May even be Cerebus now, with some Germanic honorific epithet. It's hard to keep. I gave up after, I think, the Laurophylla. I didn't even bother memorizing the new name. Let's see, chocolate tree seedlings doing well from seed from Palm Beach. That is, a friend of mine gave me this to put in the botanical garden that I'm actually working with, and that is the Johannes Tiesmania, or Tigesmania altifrons. Johannes Tigesmania altifrons. I think I'm saying that close to right, and feel free to correct me. Some mango cultivars. I got Angie here. I've got a sweet tart here, and if I do move in a few years, that's why I have these. I'm going to just keep growing them out. Somebody told me Angie's not that great, but I'll, you know, whatever. I'll just stick it somewhere if I don't like it. But I hope to get fruit off of it while it's in a container, and then I can determine whether or not I like it. I have a sweet tart in my yard already. You can see it crowning over there. I just absolutely love sweet tart. That's like fruit crack. I mean, it is probably not the best mango, but it's, in my book, it's good. Speaking of really good, there's an M4 there as well. It's supposed to be coconutty. So that one's really slow though, so we'll see. This is an F1 of the Zambia times barbadensis, like the ones I had over there that were F2s. And that I got that from Loxahatchee. A bunch of heterospathes and royals and things like that in here. Looks like there's a sable myrtiiformis. These are Carpoxylon, Macrospermum, Normambia. Doing something wrong with some of them. They're not looking as good as they could. Chamaedoria tepehilotes, those are fun. I'm going to put them in at that botanical park and see how the nematodes, how they're received by the nematodes. Lastly, I'll stop with this is, these are coconut varieties, Fiji dwarf, Malayan red dwarf, Nawasi, Chowgat green. There's a what is probably a Macapuno hybrid in there. Macapunos are self-sterile, sort of mutant sports, so they don't really produce viable seed, but there was a seedling underneath a gaggle of Macapunos, and so we'll just assume it's a hybrid. Or it could be that a a swallow brought it in, and the unladen swallow ladened itself with another variety of coconut. But anyway, so lastly, I started 10 years ago with a thing about drift seeds, a video rather upload of drift seeds, and this is a product of that generation, and it is a drift seed, and this is Entotogeigus. Putting my hand there for dramatic effect, it's probably about 6 to 7 inches across, and my sort of European hand there, not the largest hand, that's why I say European, it's like a medium-sized hand, but anyway, it's a big trunk, or big vine, coming out of the ground there, and so produces the largest seed in the world that I know of, about 2 meters long, corkscrew. It's in Fabaceae, so it's a pod, and it just sort of spirals out. You can Google that, monkey ladder vine. And there's an Ephandra natalia, and I'm afraid it's declining. I've offered it cold protection. It's just, it came up strong and was looking good, and I was all excited because Ephandra is very uncommon. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. If you're still with me, thank you for... Oh, here's a Cycas debowensis. It's one of the only cycads I like. It's just absolutely amazing looking. Had to have that in, not my collection, but I'll put it somewhere where it'll be appreciated. And there's the Chunia Phoenix. That, if I pointed those out earlier, that's some seedlings, and that's where it came from. So anyway, thank you all so much if you're still with me. And here's to more years and more uploads. And on that note, I will do my best to continue, or rather pick up the pace in uploading and make sure you guys get some more content. Thanks again.